Welcome to Mojoyminds.
The word slave is so common in our language today that we rarely stop to think about where it actually comes from. We often associate slavery with the Atlantic trade of the 18th century, but the true roots of the word and the practice go back much further, to a time when the victims of human trafficking looked very different than many expect. To understand the word slave, we have to look at the history of Eastern Europe, the power of the Mediterranean pirates, and a linguistic accident that forever linked an entire ethnic group to the concept of bondage. If you look at the word slave in English, esclave in French, or schiavo in Italian, they all trace back to the same medieval Latin word, sclavus. This word was originally the name for the Slavic people of Eastern Europe. During the early Middle Ages, from the 9th to the 11th centuries, the Holy Roman Empire and various Mediterranean powers frequently raided Slavic territories. So many Slavic people were captured and sold into the markets of Europe and the Middle East that their ethnic name literally became the generic term for a person held in bondage. This is a rare case in history where a people's name for themselves, which likely meant the people of the word, or the famous ones, was twisted by outsiders into a label for property. This brings us to a part of history that is often left out of the textbooks: the Barbary slave trade. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, North African pirates known as the Barbary corsairs operated from the coasts of Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. These Moors didn't just target ships. They launched terrifying raids on coastal villages as far north as Ireland, England, and even Iceland. Historians estimate that over 1 million Europeans were captured and sold in the slave markets of Algiers and Tripoli. Many of these white slaves were used for hard labor, but women were often sold into the harems of the Ottoman elite. In these markets, light-skinned captives were often called white gold because they fetched such a high price from wealthy bidders. Understanding the deep and sometimes uncomfortable layers of our history is what we do here at Mojoyminds. We believe that to truly understand the modern world, we have to be willing to look at the stories that aren't always easy to tell. If you value this kind of deep dive into the origins of our language and our societies, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Mojoyminds community. We are building a space where curious minds can explore the joy of learning the truth about our past. Now, let's look at the countries that still carry these names today. The country of Slovenia and the ethnic group known as the Slovaks both derive their names from that same ancient root, Slavni. This was the original self-designation for all Slavic people. It is important to remember that while the Western world used their name to create the word slave, the Slavic people themselves never accepted that definition. They maintained their culture, their languages, and their independence, eventually forming powerful nations. Slovenia, located at the crossroads of the Alps and the Mediterranean, stands today as a testament to the resilience of a people whose name was borrowed by the rest of the world for a dark purpose, but who remained the people of the word in their own right. The first slaves in human history didn't belong to any one race or region. Slavery has existed in almost every early civilization, from Sumer in Mesopotamia to ancient Egypt and China. In those days, slavery was usually the result of debt, crime, or being on the losing side of a war. It wasn't until much later that it became tied to specific ethnic groups or skin colors. By looking at the origin of the word, slave, we see that the history of human bondage is a global story of power and conquest that has touched every corner of the map. From the Slavic heartlands to the Barbary coast, it is a reminder of a past that we must understand if we ever hope to move beyond it.
Garantangi. Till the next video.